Abuja, the state of the executive, legislative and judicial arms of government in Nigeria, like most fledgling cities around the world, is tackling headlong the challenges associated with refuse management. The urban population is growing at an appreciable rate, both within the city center and the suburbs. Painstaking efforts, backed by enabling legislation, are required to avoid Abuja falling into the pitfall of epidemic refuse management problems or experiences associated with the major cities in Africa.
You can't talk about waste management in FCT without talking about waste management in Nigeria in general. FCT will come into focus because it's the federal capital territory, and we expect things to be very, very optimal.
Like with most growing cities in the world, increasing waste generation springs up. Adopting time-tested, solid waste management principles and practices are required to keep the city and our residents clean, healthy, disease-free, and positively impact on their overall productivity.
My responsibility primarily is for the federal capital city, that is phases 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the city. And every day we have to deal with over 900 tons of waste, of municipal waste every day. That is, we have designated the city into 44 lots, and we have private sector involved in waste removal. So that quantity of waste will amount to roughly about 100 to 110 compacting trucks every day conveying municipal waste to the Goza dump site.
The population of residents of Abuja and environs are subject to speculation and estimates. Accurate statistics about the population and the demographic distribution of the inhabitants are quintessential to effective waste management. This is achieved by the provision of matching infrastructure to subdue, conquer, and overcome the volume of waste generated by inhabitants.
In the whole of FCT, there's no sanitary waste disposal. What do you mean by sanitary waste disposal? Is the proper disposal of waste. That is the United Nations and world acclaimed way of disposing wastes. 6 zones were identified in FCT, but only 4 of those are suitable. Our waste road is good, infrastructure is good, but when you are passing along the major roads in FCT, you see burst waste pipes coming out. It's not good. Every tire takes it. Every tire of a vehicle we take it home, and we don't really know the pathogens that are inside there. And that is another source of disease that is in the waiting. Infrastructure that does not index health is very dangerous. This waste area, the 6 of them and the 4 that have been declared as suitable, should be given attention. Waste management, you are dealing with it from production to disposal, taking into cognizance the usage, the conscious usage, and the transition of the waste.
The Abuja Environmental Protection Board, AEPB, is statutorily saddled with the solid waste management in the Federal Capital Territory. In addition, the board also ensures protection and improvement of air, water, land, forest, and wildlife in the ecology of the Federal Capital Territory. How has this agency of government fared in seeing that Abuja is one of the cleanest cities in Africa and indeed the world?
The Abuja Environmental Protection Board is a creation of an act of 1997, and our primary responsibility is to make sure that residents of the Federal Capital Territory live in a healthy and wholesome environment. As part of that mandate is to implement effective municipal waste management, to implement effective healthcare waste management, to ensure that all our sewage treatment plants, 6 numbers, are effectively run in terms of operation and maintenance, and also to help achieve proper city order, because we have monitoring and enforcement amongst other things that we're charged to do. The city of Abuja, unlike other cities in the nation, has a comprehensive sewerage system. That is, the sewer lines are buried under the city, and these lines convey sewage to the 6 numbers sewage treatment plant. And also, we have also lines that convey stormwater into the waterways. And it's our responsibility to maintain this infrastructure.
A careful observer of the outlook of waste management in the Federal Capital Territory notices near absence of heaps of refuse or overflowing refuse bins within the main city center of Abuja, such as Garki, Wuse, Wuye, Utako, Uzape, Asokoro, Maitama, and the likes. Conversely, satellite towns and suburbs experience issues such as massive heaps of refuse bins overflowing the designated container and spilling into drainage channels and even the main roads. Open air disposal of refuse, as well as presence of small artisanal refuse collectors, amongst others, to mention but a few.
In Abuja, by 2003, it has started growing. That's before all the challenges across Nigeria. There were about 6,500 people now that is doing scavenging. Now they are about 25,000 to 30,000 by our own research. And that is very significant. At the time, they just came, pack all of them and go and dump them somewhere, wherever they took them. I said, that's not the solution. That's ad hoc, and it doesn't work. In every organization, every entity, there will always be the good, the bad, the ugly. Why don't you identify the ugly one? The ones that are good, create welfare society for them, thrift society, create very low interest loan for them so that they can take and be paying back, just like the way Okada and all they do among themselves. Now, when they take from it, the thing is that you convert it to Adashi. Every day they pay back to it so that it is revolving. It's revolving. Make a better human being. I sent a book that I wrote, Riches in the Rubbish. I sent it to the FCT administration to look at it. To look at it. How do we manage FCT? It's a city that is after my own heart.
Over the years, in advanced clients, solid waste management, despite being a pressing issue owing to urbanization and surges in global population, is not only about mitigating the effect of the environmental challenges posed, but also about unlocking new opportunities and opening new vistas for a sustainable future.
Our responsibility is for the areas already mentioned, and these areas, if you look, have very advanced infrastructure, road network, and so on. That makes our job a little easier than other places. You can provide effective waste management when you have proper infrastructure, because the trucks need to drive on roads because they are heavy, 20 tons, 25-ton trucks. And where you have challenges is when the layout is not properly planned. Because in the FCT, by law, you're expected to have a 240-liter waste bin in front of your house. The numbers will depend on how many people live in that particular apartment. If it's 4 people or 3, one waste bin will do, 240 liters. If it's beyond that number, you may need to have more waste bins. So our truck just drive in there and pick. In the satellite areas, because some of the settlements there are informal, Even if you do provide those waste bins, how will the truck navigate? So this is why provision of infrastructure is critical to waste management. The more modern the road infrastructure is, the easier it is to have effective waste management. In the city, the infrastructure is fairly well developed, so we're able to have effective waste management.
There is a growing demand for autonomous operations, digitization and sustainability. Innovative composting and advanced recycling are emerging trends in the waste management ecosystem, adopted as global best practices.
But conscious is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Recycling now. That is what the world is running on now. Circular economy. We should go from mounting things to actually doing it. The country, Nigeria, produce 42 metric tons of waste. That's the waste in Nigeria. Annually, we produce 2.5 million tons of it. With Lagos, Lagos produce the highest. That's 13,000 to 15,000 tons of waste. It takes $1 billion to produce 1 megawatt of electricity. But when you go through waste, it's almost 1/10 of that cost.
The 3R, reuse, recycle, and waste reduction. So reduction, reuse, and recycle. So we want to achieve waste reduction, waste minimization, and this will be achieved in the waste transfer stations. That is, we want to see if we can achieve some kind of separation. Waste usually come in various components. You have the organic waste, food waste, and so on. You have the plastic waste, PET bottles. You have the cans, bottles, and other components. So in most advanced countries, this waste is segregated. So for the PET bottles, there are companies that will come and pick those for recycling. So with the bottles, the organic materials will be landfilled. So what we are trying to do, we already have pilot programs ongoing, working jointly with UNIDO and JICA for us to begin waste segregation at source. So very soon, already in Life Camp, in Guarimpa, in some areas, we have given people waste bins for them to separate their waste at source. So the PET bottles are clean, companies come and pick them and recycle them.
Waste management is like a delicate dance. No delicate dance, delicate dance. One person takes the lead in the dance and every other person follow. The government is to take the lead. First of all, you must create that sanitary position, that sanitary port across Abuja. Not landfill, not indiscriminate landfill. Two, you must create a coincide framework. The garbage truck, when you see it, you are always very happy. In advanced countries, most advanced countries, you select your experts from the TV. You just watch the TV and say, okay, this guy is speaking about what is really, really, really good. How do I use him? How do we use him? How do we come around him? If you work well, politics and election will take care of itself. It does not respond to prophecy. It does not respond to prayer. It responds to hard work. We love the Federal Capital Territory the way it is now, but then the beauty is of concern to all of us.
Most analysts, researchers, and key stakeholders have posited that public-private partnership have become a key model and workable solution in waste management, as it offers collaborative solutions between the public and the private sectors. A win-win situation has been the order of the day, as both sectors pool resources together, resulting in more efficient and cost-effective project implementation.
Abuja is a living city, and as you know, there's a huge population migration from the states into the federal capital city. And in the last 2 years, this has increased significantly because the city infrastructure has improved significantly. So places that are good tend to attract people. So there's a huge population influx into the city in the last 2 years. This is what we have to cater for, meaning that the waste generation has also increased significantly. That's our struggle to make sure that this waste is conveyed to the dump site and where we treat the waste and disposed finally.
Nigeria have a lot of potentials. Let's get people that can do the job and come and do it. You're a guy, they gave 17 years to develop their electricity from renewable. They didn't give it to a politician. They didn't use it to patronize anybody. They got a physicist to deal with it. Today, as I speak to you, Uruguay electricity is almost 99%. And yet we are busy disposing it anyhow here.
The concept of public-private partnership aims at securing private capital that will be required to establish, erect, or put in place advanced waste management infrastructure, bearing in mind the competing priorities for government funds. Adopting the polluters pay principle provide financial incentives, risk allocation, and strategies to attract private investments in the sector.
To have environmental consciousness. In the FCT, for example, if you drive around, you see women sweeping the streets and so on. This waste largely comes from people tossing out their waste out of their car windows. And then in some cases, we've had opportunities to chat with them, trying to discourage the service. And they say things like, if we don't toss the waste bin out of the window, what job will the women do? I mean, this is very unreasonable. Sweeping the streets is, apart from being a very difficult exercise, is also dangerous. We've had cases where our women have been knocked down and actually killed. So please, we don't expect you to give our women work. They have enough work. Keep your waste in your car. We expect every car to have a waste bin, or you can keep your food or whatever on the floor of the car and later trash when you get home. We don't expect you to litter the streets of the Federal Capital Territory because you want to give our women work. That's not your responsibility. Keep your waste with you and trash it appropriately. There must be that consciousness about the environment. People doing this work are also humans. If you don't bag your waste properly, it gives them a lot of challenge to scoop it up into the compacting truck. So part of your responsibility is to bag your waste, pay your waste bill, then we now handle the rest as a government agency.
So the people that are throwing it across the window, before you enforce a law, you must make that law enforceable. You can't just create a law out of the blue and say, no. If you now have ports that they could drop those wastes, we all travel abroad. When you are driving your car, you stop, you put it inside there, because if they catch you disposing it inappropriately, you also pay inappropriately.
According to the International Solid Waste Management, this decade will present a unique opportunity to make positive changes to drive towards the future we want. If we do not, the world will reach the point of no return in terms of global warming, pollution, and degradation of natural resources. In essence, efficient and effective waste management is the best interest of all. Even the planet Earth will thank us for it.
They identified 6 positions that we're supposed to do sanitary is proper waste management. And there's a very strong nexus between proper waste management and erosion. Do public-private partnership on this waste management. But if you do that and they still end up on open spaces, you have not done anything.
Effective waste disposal confers great benefits on the country. These include environmental protection from pollution and contamination, financial incentives, which includes money generation from recycling and provision of employment opportunities, safety, as irresponsible waste can harm people, exploring alternatives like composting, which provides manure, thereby aiding and improving agricultural productivity, or biodiesel, which serves as an alternative source of energy.
Also, the materials to be recycled also provide opportunities for job creation and reduce the resources that we consume as human beings. Because a PET bottle, you drink water with it, later it becomes a fan or slippers or a bucket, and so we now recycle it many, many times for effective resource utilization and management. So already in AEPB, we have these programs ongoing. Of course, we intend to escalate it very soon to cover all areas of the city. That's why we have education programs we are holding with the Department of Environmental Health and TV programs like this, letting the residents know that there's need for you to separate your waste at source. You don't need to trash everything together. PET bottles should be removed. Companies come and pick them up. Bottles also to one side, then you can trash the organic and they will come and remove.
These 6 areas that have been identified as sanitary waste point before, 4 of them are very good. How do we develop them? Encourage Nigerians to properly dispose waste. There's bottle, there is food, there's everything. In Japan, nothing is wasted. The food that you dispose, it can take about a month. They compost it, it becomes manure.
An improved business philosophy whereby the consumers become more environmentally conscious, leading to the adoption of green energy and a waste to wealth paradigm. Experts have posited that provision of basic waste management services globally should be a priority. The Federal Capital Territory, as a fledgling city, is determined to leave no one behind in embracing global best practices in solid waste management. Statutory bodies and partners in progress are leaving no stone unturned in seeing that Abuja becomes a city of our dreams.
We have developed a healthcare waste management basic plan for the Federal Capital City. It's a document, one of the first in Nigeria, to handle healthcare waste, hospital wastes. It was approved by the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory in September 2024. This document is a landmark document which we developed working with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA. This will help us to have a proper healthcare waste management plan for the Federal Capital Territory. We're going to segregate the waste, sharps, bandages, blood, tissue into various compartments. Those that can be incinerated are incinerated. The sharps are kept in a container for other purposes. So we put them into various compartments. And then only a small fraction of the ash is landfilled. So this will prevent the spread of diseases in the community because we're able to handle this special kind of waste. Healthcare waste can be very, very deadly. So it's something that we need to look at carefully and handle. That is why this plan was developed working with JICA and approved by the Honorable Minister of the FCT for implementation.
According to an anonymous quote, waste is a resource in the wrong place. The foregoing is encouraging us to rethink our habits, recycle waste, embrace recycling, and reuse as a fundamental practice vis-a-vis our approach to refuse management.
I always say the National Orientation Agency, these are the jobs that is created for. Waste management. Abuja is, okay, it's fine and it's taking a very finding. They are creating more green area now, but they are damaging the already existing green area. Going around Abuja now, there's almost no green area again. It's either a waste area or whatever, or you are built on it. The founding fathers of Abuja knew the value of green area. And if you go to Norway, if you go to Sweden, green areas are very, very, very key. If you infringe on it, you pay dearly for it.
It's the issue of payment of waste bills. This is key. It's a very expensive service. Already it is subsidized because the rates we're charging are 2012 rates. And the service that we're giving is tied to diesel consumption, petrol usage, equipment usage. So you can imagine the cost of things in 2012 and the cost of things today. So it's a highly subsidized service we are rendering. And then we also struggle to recover costs of our work because of resistance to paying bills by some people, not all. Some people pay usually normally, but some you have to drag and drag and drag. So my appeal to residents of the FCT is to pay their waste bill promptly as soon as they receive it.
All stakeholders are encouraged to take part in the movement towards responsible waste management. Together, we can make a huge difference and a lasting impact.